How's it going, everybody? Today I have a pretty cool video lined up for you. I know it's been a while since I made a new post, but I've been super focused and I've been working on this one sequence in my game for almost an entire month now. Um, I didn't want to show it to you guys until I had a good chunk of it done, so I think it's finally time to show it to you, and without further ado, let's just hop into it. So yeah, guys, there is the chase sequence that I've been working on for almost a month now. I hope you guys liked it. You'll have to let me know what you thought down in the comment section down below. But I kind of just wanted to talk about my philosophy towards the game. So for those of you that don't know, I come from an animation background. That's what I have my degree in. And so when I started getting into game development, what I really want to do is take my my experience in animation and film and really bring that into to game development without sacrificing the actual quality of the gameplay either. Um, so yeah, I want it to be really immersive. Like I didn't want to just have like a normal cutscene that leads into the boss fight. Like I really wanted to immerse the player and ramp up that tension. And so, like, when you think about it, it's actually a two-phase boss fight. Like, you have the chase scene in the hallway, and then you also have the boss fight itself in the gymnasium. And so, I think that'll also, like, open up some cool, like, options for the player. So, say that the player's really struggling with the boss fight in the gymnasium. What they can do to try to mitigate that is dish out enough damage during the chase sequence so once they arrive at the gym, the health bar won't be quite as high. Or conversely, if there's a player that really likes the challenge and they want to try to conserve their ammo, they can just focus on trying to avoid the attacks in the chase sequence. Um, it is a one-hit kill, so like if you die in the chase sequence, it will restart you at the beginning. Um, but yeah, so that is kind of like my philosophy that I've been trying to bring to the game, and obviously, there's still some rough edges around it. There's still a lot that I'd like to add to it to make it a little more realistic. Like currently, there's no real dodge animation for whenever John avoids the attacks. There's no hit reaction animations for the creature whenever you shoot him, and then obviously there's no motion capture for the actual characters themselves. So I think once I add that to the game, it'll really start to take shape. But I was really just focusing on the actual mechanics of the chase and trying to get those so that they're consistent and solid. And so whenever you hit play button, it's just gonna play the exact same way every time. So yeah, so that's what I'm at. That's where I'm at with the chase sequence. I've also been working on a couple other things, but one real thing that I really wanted to do is so I was I was looking at the videos that I had uploaded on this channel so far, and suddenly it occurred to me that there's so much that I had already developed before I started this channel and started uploading videos. Basically, when I started this channel, I think I was already like a good like 6 months into development, and so I was basically just uploading what I was currently working on. But there's a ton that I had actually already started working on before then. So I kind of just want to quickly show you guys some stuff you've never seen before and get you caught up. So let's get started. So before I started to develop the game in Unreal Engine, I had actually gotten my start for the game in a game called Dreams for PlayStation 4. So if you've never heard of Dreams, essentially what it is, it's a game that is itself a game engine, like a really simplified game engine. And so that's where I got my introduction into game design. So, I got that a couple years ago, and I started learning how to code with like a node-based programming. So I started developing. I came up with some cool prototypes, and I just kept developing them, more and more, and eventually this idea for a game formed. And so here's some like early prototypes that I put together. Actually, this one right here is the inspiration for the chase sequence that I just showed you guys. So this is one that I had actually prototyped in Dreams, and I was stoked that I had put this together. It was like the first real cool thing that I had done in the program. But then I also, so here is the prototype for the tardigrade boss fight that takes place inside the city. And I came up with this crazy idea of this tardigrade being so big that it could literally hurl cars at the player, and the player would have to dodge out of the way. Or like if it caught up to the player, it would grab them by the leg and then toss them like 60 feet. I just thought that make for a really cool encounter. And so this is what I put together in Dreams. But then I've already started kind of prototyping out the boss encounter in Unreal Engine. This was a while ago, so things have definitely changed in terms of like the gameplay mechanics. But yeah, I was starting to experiment with it here, and I can't wait to get back to it and to keep fleshing that out. I think that'll make for a really cool experience. And then here's some cinematics that I created for the beginning of the game. So early on in the game, the group gets together and they have to fly to an island, that's off the coast, and they have to fly there by helicopter, and it takes place during the storm at nighttime. And so as you can see here, I really wanted to add like a cinematic quality and tone to it. And the camera pans into the helicopter, and then it shows a conversation between the squad about what they expect to find on the island and just the situation in general. And then here is the actual the helicopter landing on the island. And what's funny is I joined a helicopter pilots Facebook group to actually consult real helicopter pilots. And so they were super kind to me. Actually, I showed them the animation and they were all really impressed. The only real thing they had to add was that whenever the helicopter reaches gets closer to the pad, the wake from the wind of the blades would actually kick up more water from the pad itself. So that's definitely something that I plan on adding more into. And then here is actually entering the facility, and with this I was wanting to try to set the initial tone for the game and just kind of cue the player into what they can kind of expect throughout the game, what kind of tone it's going to be. And so here I was just trying to really build out the atmosphere, and it's probably going to look a whole lot different by the time I'm actually finished with it, but this is basically what I have built out so far of it. And so this scene right here is my homage to the movie Jurassic Park. So at the kind of the climax of that movie, there's a scene where the characters Lex and Tim are trapped inside this kitchen, and there's these two raptors that are trying to hunt them down, and it's like a really intense encounter. And I always loved that film and the scene. I always thought it'd make for a really cool gameplay encounter. So I'm not trying to rip it straight off. I definitely want to add my own twist to it. But I want to kind of evoke that same kind of feeling of you have to be cautious and not be spotted by the enemy. And so yeah, I was dabbling around with that right here, and in like the final product, I imagine those creatures will be different. They'll actually be the electrolotl creature, which is like this like almost like a hybrid between an electric eel and an axolotl. Basically, it's like this. It almost looks like a raptor, but it can like shock you and it can regenerate. And so that's kind of what I imagined for this scenario. And then here, I was actually starting to try to build out the city. This will be like the open world section of the game, kind of like a semi-open world where you can explore the city. And then, as you notice, he is on a tram system, and that'll kind of act as the fast travel for the game. Like if you want to get from one section of the city to the other, you can take the tram. I'm actually super excited to tell you guys more about the game and go into more detail about the story and everything as it develops. Um, but yeah, I think that pretty much gets everyone caught up. Sorry if this video is a little sporadic and long-winded. I just really wanted to take this opportunity to, show you guys everything that I hadn't shown you before. And I also wanted to just give a big thank you for following my progress and supporting me as a solo indie developer trying to make, his first real video game. It means a whole lot to me. So I just wanted to take an opportunity to thank you. But yeah, I hope you guys have a great day, and I'll see you in the next one.